I spent years living all the way in the box, afraid to step out, afraid to truly grab hold of my dream. And now I am breaking through, and I invite you to join me.
Your breakthrough starts now. Coming up on today's show, get ready to be inspired and transformed with our featured guests. Find out what's trending and get advice on life's daily challenges with Erica's top tips of the day. All of this and so much more coming up. So stay tuned. This is your one-stop shop for inspiration. The Erica Latrice Show. And now, here's your host, Erica.
Hello and welcome to the Erica Latrice Show. This is your one-stop shop for inspiration. And today, my topic is help. I have so many ideas. I have so many things that I want to complete. How can I get started? That's exactly what we're talking about on today's show. I have two powerhouse guests in the Be Inspired Cafe today. We have Pooja. We have Sabrina. They're backstage ready to come out. And today's episode is all about how do you hone in, how do you get specific and start seeing results in the many areas that you may be gifted at, the many ideas that you may have. Today's message is all about carrying out those ideas. So definitely don't go anywhere. If you're watching live, it's always a great time to join the conversation. All you got to do is comment below, and I will be doing a giveaway on today's episode per usual. I just want to shout out today's sponsor, Love Letters to My Girls. You can go to loveletterstomygirls.com with founder Dr. Sharita Weatherspoon, who is launching a worldwide movement to help Black women and girls heal, receive empowerment, strength through these authors. And you guys are going to hear me talk about this a lot because I really do believe in when you have an idea, when you have a vision, get connected, get around other people that are going to support it. And I would love to support your vision. So just email me if you want to be featured on the show. All right, so we're going to take a short break. My question to you today is, do you feel like you have a lot of ideas? Do you feel like you have a lot of ideas? If you do, don't share all of your ideas in the comment, but just let me know. And again, tag a friend, tell a trailblazer. We'll be right back. Birthed out of an idea for her own daughter, Dr. Sharita's vision has now turned into a movement. This wasn't just for her daughter. It was for other sisters and daughters around the world. The Love Letters to My Girls anthology is a book by Black women and girls, a collaboration of more than 100 women coming together to write letters to inspire, uplift, motivate, and empower the sisterhood. These stories bring you lessons and healing for those worn by their experiences as a Black woman in this world. Get your copy at loveletterstomygirls.com.
Get ready for all new episodes of the Erica Latrice Show. You can join me weekdays at 2 o'clock Eastern across social media at Erica Empowers. That's Erica spelled like America. If you have a message that you want to share on the show, email us right now at info@ericalatrice.com or visit online at ericalatrice.com/be on the show.
Welcome back. So I'm jumping into our top tips of the day. And then our first guest coming up is Pooja, who is coming all the way from India today and sharing her story of stepping out and turning those ideas into steps. And what I want to talk to you about today is when you're in that place where it feels like maybe you have a lot of ideas, you have a lot of things that you want to get done, or maybe you just feel like you want to help people, but you're not quite sure where to start. The first thing that I would encourage you to do is make a list of your overall goal. When we have an idea or when we feel like we want to help people or we want to step out, sometimes it can get overwhelming because we're so fixated on the big picture that it can cause us to not know what the first step needs to be. So make a list. I call this a brain dump, but write down everything that you would hope to see take place in your life and just write it out. When you can start from there, you won't squander or misuse or think about things that don't matter. You actually can start getting intentional about what receives your attention. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is something that I talk about a lot. If you've never read this book, The One Thing, go get it. Because this is for all of you that are out there that are dreamers. For those of you who are visionaries and you have these ideas and maybe you find yourself circling around and not really being able to bring them all into fruition. And what I would encourage you to do is think about the one thing. And what that means is figuring out what one action could you take right now? What action could you take today that's going to take care of everything else? So sometimes if we're trying to buy the house, we're trying to take care of our children, or we're trying to take care of ourselves, or we're trying to get the education, we're trying to save the money, we're trying to start the business, we're trying to start 5 businesses. It can get so overwhelming that nothing really gets done. You're spreading the seeds too thin, you're spreading the water too thin. But when you can identify of all those things, what one thing will cause everything else to get taken care of? Now you can shift your focus. Instead of feeling that need and that overwhelm to do 1,000 things at once, you can just start with one step. So I'm really excited. Speaking of starting with one step and walking in the area of your passion, our special guest in the Be Inspired Cafe, our first guest coming up is Pooja, and she is out in her community making a difference, taking action, and taking steps. So welcome with me into the Be Inspired Cafe today. Pooja, how are you doing? Well, you're muted.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Hi, I'm good. How are you?
All is well. So you are doing a lot right now, and I know today I'm talking about taking that first step when we have ideas, when we have goals, how to start implementing them. So can you first just tell us a little bit about what you do and how you've been able to start taking steps towards your goals?
Right. Yeah. So I'm based in New Delhi, capital of India, and I'm a social entrepreneur by profession. I own a startup called Organico Beautifying Life, a social venture creating livelihood opportunity for donkey owners. Yeah, you heard it right. For donkey owner, people who own donkey in India, by utilizing their untapped resource, that is donkey's milk, to make skincare products. It's a complete social venture. We are trying to work on the two sector, that is creating livelihood, as well as we are launched India's first donkey milk skincare brand in our country. So this is the basic of my enterprise, what we are doing in currently.
So I find it's really neat what you're doing, because I know sometimes we can have ideas and second guess if it's going to work, or second guess if it makes sense, or second guess if it's going to be received. So as you stepped out, was there ever a time that you felt like maybe you wanted to quit, or you felt like you weren't sure if this was a good idea? If so, what did you do to keep going?
Definitely. Actually, I started this Organico was my college project. So I started in my this was my just to pass the semester. This was my final year project. And when I started, I just wanted to clear the semester, pass the college with good marks, get a job. But after some time, I realized that job is something I'm not meant to be. I do not want to do. I want to continue working for society and do something. And it was a difficult task for a fresher, for a 23, 24 years old girl, a woman in India, to choose between something people never heard, or a stable life, a stable job opportunity, or getting a government job. But yeah, so there's a thing called when you really want to do something, you find a path, and that's how I started working. I thought that I should give a chance to my idea for a year. So people who are listening, if you have any idea or you're confused, just give a ear to your idea and see what where it can take you.
Yes, and you said that that's a mic drop moment. When we really want to do something, we find a way. When we're kind of straddling the fence, we find an excuse. And Pooja, I feel like it's so amazing what you're doing, because you're in a place, like you said,
Right.
even as a young woman, like starting out fresh, you made a decision to not just follow the trend and work for someone else, but start your own. So, what would you say? What's that one key that you would give to someone that maybe has an idea to start a business, but they feel like maybe they should just do what everyone else is doing, or maybe like there's pressure where you want to take the safe route. So, what advice would you have?
Okay, so this is the basic question that I always come up with, that people say I do not have resources, I don't have funding opportunities, I don't have other resources. Where I should start the business? Should I start this year or next year, or do job for some time, and then after 2 or 1 year I start the business? I would suggest that you start first and then you wait. The resources will come to you. So people, I met like a lot of fresh graduate student entrepreneurs, and who want to start their business but stuck because they are not getting the enough resources, enough money. So I would suggest you that take a first step. You don't have to invest lakh of rupees, crore of rupees in your millions of rupees in your idea. Just take a small step, invest something, start something. I started with Indian rupees 28,000 when I started my idea. It was my pocket money I was collecting to go on a trip. So, obviously I can start with small, and now I'm getting a good, when I started, I did not have resources. There was a funding shortage, there was a team shortage. The community I'm working on, and we are working with the marginalized donkey owner communities. And in India, there's a superstitious associated with donkey owner donkeys, that if you take donkey's milk, we are doing some black magic and donkey will die. So changing the mindset, entering the community, asking them to be a part of our organization was a big deal. But as I said, that I started small. I started going to community, telling people what I want to do. I started pitching my idea. So everyone, I would suggest you to just start small, take a first step. You do not have to invest a lot of money, lot of resources, when you are starting, and just give your idea a year, 1 year, and then see where it takes you. Things will be different.
That's so good. And I so agree, because a lot of times when we're waiting for everything to come together, I was actually listening to, I wish I could remember her name because I would shout her out right now. It was someone speaking on the message of Michael Jordan, and she talked about how none of the greats in their area, whether it's athletes or actors or actresses or entrepreneurs or anything, their habits lead to that greatness. They don't become an Olympian because they want to be an Olympian. They become because their habits line up with that of an Olympian. So what you talk about right now is acting like, lining up, taking the actions right now that are going to lead to what you're looking to see take place. And by doing that, that's when you at least see it take place. So this is my last question for you, because I think you brought up a good point. You said try it for a year, not a day, not 2 weeks, not just trying it and say it failed, but trying it for a year. So what would you say, Pooja? How have you been able to remain consistent in stepping out in your business, and what advice would you give to someone that's trying to find that consistency for the long haul?
Okay, so see, when I said that take, give a year to your idea, I meant that, if in 1 year you will realize that whether you want to continue this or not, and the consistency comes from there, from your inner self. Because when I started, I was very confused, being a 24-year-old girl, fresher, and I had no resources, nothing. I had a vague idea, and I wanted to work on that, and I entered the community and started. I said, okay, I will give myself a year, and I will see whether I will able to make it or not. And within a year, I realized that this is something actually interests me. This is something I really want to do and continue in my future. And this gives me a confidence, and that confidence to work for myself, work for the society. So, I would say that, I definitely would say that if you, when it comes to the consistency, obviously just give yourself a year. And commitment, obviously, when it comes, I'm just giving a year will not help you, but at the same time, commitment and obviously patience will help you do a lot in your life. So, and that's how you work, not only for the entrepreneurs, but for any profession. Consistent, the patience and the commitment will help you.
Yes, yes, yes. Amen. Because I feel like sometimes we can get disheartened, but it really is that over time we see many people where it seems like they just took one idea and they just blew up overnight. But usually what we don't see is that work that took place behind the scenes. We don't see Pooja the day that she had to make the decision to step out, and now seeing you. I think it's awesome what you're doing, and I think that a lot of people are going to be inspired by your story. So speaking of those people, what's the best way that we can get connected with you, find you on social media, and follow you as well?
So I am available on Instagram. My handle is call KAUL 001 009, and Facebook call Pooja, and you can also find me on LinkedIn to connect.
Awesome. So Pooja's not leaving yet. She's going to come back for our final thoughts. We're going to take a short break. And when I come back, I have another powerhouse in the Be Inspired Cafe today, Sabrina. So if you're watching, now is a great time to share. Go ahead and do that. And also, I just want to say another thank you to one of our sponsors today, Christine. She is the Purpose Coach, and you can get a free ticket to her event that's happening right now at FromPurposeToProfit.com. So take a look at that. And when we come back, we are doing another guest in the Be Inspired Cafe to give you tips today. If you have a lot of ideas, if you need encouragement to keep going, then you just landed in the right place. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Let your light shine at the upcoming From Purpose to Profit Virtual Summit. This event is going to help you uncover your calling and create a purpose-driven business. Hosted by Clestine, the Purpose Coach. With more than 20 templates and 28 speakers for 14 days, you will receive more than $4,000 worth of resources. God has a plan for you, so get ready for your divine destiny. Register today at FromPurposeToProfit.com.
If you're watching this, so are your potential clients. I'm excited to announce an all-new season of the Erica Latrice Show. It's coming up right now, and we're looking for featured guests as well as sponsors. If you want to be a success supporter of this show, connect with our team right now by emailing info@ericalatrice.com to get more information or just support the mission of Be Inspired, to empower and inspire people all around the world with a message of hope and encouragement. Our mission is to bring you uplifting news and talk to encourage and share a platform for those who have a powerful message and looking for a place to share it. If you want to partner with the Erica Latrice Show, you can do so by emailing info@ericalatrice.com or visit ericalatrice.com/sponsor so that you can be a success supporter of this inspirational movement.
Welcome back. Did I mention it pays to comment? So if you're watching live right now, leave a comment. My question for you today is, have you ever felt like you had a lot of ideas and you weren't sure where to start? Share your experience in the comment section. We are jumping into the Be Inspired Cafe with our second guest today. She is Sabrina. She is recently receiving a new title. So clap it up for me if you're watching live, and welcome into the Be Inspired Cafe. Sabrina, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, well, I'm excited to have you here. And I just want to say kudos to you, because I feel like you're also a great example of what it means to have different gifts, different talents, and honing them all in to make a difference. So can you tell us just a little bit about what you do and also your recent title that you just received as well?
Of course, of course. Okay, well, I'm an empowerment coach, primarily empowering women, but also empowering men. I am also a stress management coach, which is so important these days, especially since the pandemic. I am a writer for Inspire Magazine, where I have a column specifically for women, dealing with everything from relationships to sexual health to career moves to whatever. And then I also write for Babby Plus Magazine. I'm a body positivity advocate and writer for them. And I write for a new magazine that's coming out, Major Coffee, where I am giving a little bit more attention to the men and empowering them to have healthy lives and just great bodies and good physiques and, going to the gym and fitness and also their sexual health as well.
I love it. So I think it's really cool too, because you have done multiple things, and sometimes where we can get tripped up at is that feeling like I was talking about, where we have a lot of ideas, we want to help a lot of people, and not being able to turn it into something that's tangible or actionable. So what would you say, what's your go-to advice for someone looking to take those ideas and actually turn it into fruit like you have, and actually start seeing those things happen?
You have to have a goal and a goal you have to reach. It's one thing to write down tons of ideas of what you want to do and say, I'm going to quit my job and I'm going to be this entrepreneur and I'm going to go after this and go after that, and sit down and think and think and think and do nothing. And it's another thing to take those things, put it up in your bag and keep moving and keep going. Look for resources outside of yourself. If you need advice, encouragement, look outside of yourself. Get a life coach, get a therapist, go to a friend, go to a loved one. You have to really just put the fire underneath yourself just to get up and go. That's very important. And the goal is your end result. A lot of times people, they get very discouraged. Having your own business or having your own organization or whatever, your own brand, it can get discouraging sometimes. It's not always cookies and cream. It's not always the greatest thing on earth. Sometimes you have to kick yourself out of that bed. Sometimes you have to go through a lot of no's before you get to a yes. but you have to keep on pushing. Understand that the gold is at the end. There is a gold. There really, truly is. And for all those naysayers, you have to learn how to have blinders on, not look to the left, not look to the right, not listen to the left or listen to the right. Just keep on going, and then you'll go up.
You threw the mic. Forget dropping it. Yes. I love that too. And then you will find success. One of my favorite verses in Joshua, do not look to the left, do not look to the right. And that's where that's the truth, because I know sometimes when we get into this place of comparison, we'll see someone doing something that we feel is similar, and it will make us shrink back thinking, well, geez, they almost did it and they got 1 million, followers or $5 million from it. So what advice would you give for someone that's wondering, well, how do I block out the distractions? How do I really implement not looking to the left and not looking to the right? How can we apply that in our daily lives?
If COVID-19 and 2020 haven't taught us anything, it should have taught us that life is important and you only have one life to live. So are you going to sit there and be sorrowful and be depressed and going through anxieties and all types of emotions that are basically stumbling blocks? Or are you going to get yourself up? Distractions, they're going to come. I'm not even going to lie. I talk to my clients all the time. They call me for life coaching, stress management, what have you. And they're like, well, how can I get rid of these distractions? You have to understand they're always going to be there. But if you use your distraction as like a pinch just to get your butt up, then you'll be okay. If you understand there are always going to be haters, if you understand there's always going to be someone else that has that same idea or kind of sort of like your idea because they're not you, then you'll be okay. But if you pay attention to all that negativity, you won't go anywhere.
Yes, I'm like, whoo, Sabrina is just breaking out the boxing gloves. So has there ever been a time in your life where maybe I'll use hater, that term too. Maybe someone came and tried to discourage you or talked about you or tried to convince you that your idea wasn't good enough. And tell us about that time, if you don't mind, and how you were able to overcome it and keep going.
Of course, we all experienced it. But you know what? The truth of the matter is, while you were talking, I call it the imaginary haters as well. A lot of times you think people are paying attention to you and they're talking about you, but they really aren't. Like they may look at you, they may say things here and there, but their whole focus is not you. So you have to say, where is this distraction coming from? Where is this downfall coming from? Where is this negativity really coming from? Is it something I created? And if so, block it out. You have to tear down boundaries. You have to tear down all this negativity in your life to keep on pushing. We only have one life to live. And the world needs people that's going to stand up and say, you know what? I have this idea. I have that idea. I have this business. I'm going forward. Because our kids and our kids need that.
Yes. And you just said it too. A lot of times where we feel like people are talking about us or worried about us, when you think about the level of concern that you have for yourself, trust that most people have that same level of concern. They don't even have enough time to focus, on what someone else is doing. And what I find too is that the more that we're focused on what is God calling you to do, what should you be stepping out in, you won't even have time to notice. Because there are some people, don't get me wrong, there are people that will have plenty to say, will try to, slow you down, but you will not have time. And actually, one of my favorite verses, you got me getting preachy today, Sabrina. But another one of my favorite verses is when Nehemiah says, I need to get this on a shirt, because when people tried to come and distract him, he said, I'm doing a good work. I will not come down from here. Why should the work cease while I come down and deal with you? And if we apply that to every distraction, why would I stop working so I come down here and deal with this distraction?
Absolutely.
I feel like so far. So what would you say, what's that life lesson that you would hope anyone that comes in contact with you, whether through coaching, whether hearing your interviews, what's that legacy that you desire to leave?
The legacy that I desire to leave is someone that just kept pushing, someone that burst through barriers, and someone that lended a helping hand to everyone or anyone that needed it. That's the legacy I want to live. That's the legacy I want to leave. I'm thankful that I have a new title. I'm Miss Pennsylvania, Black America. And some people look at a pageant and they're like, oh, okay, that's cute. You're going to wear a gown. But no, it's a platform to reach masses, thousands and thousands of people. And I'm going to use that to put into my legacy of what I'm leaving, which is push through it. You can do this.
You better be Miss Pennsylvania. It's like casually on this Pennsylvania Black USA. I hope I didn't destroy your title just then.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yes. But can you tell us too, in that experience, how was it for you, or how did you make that decision to step out and do something slightly different? I would think like with pageantry, and then you're doing coaching and you're writing in magazines. How are you able to find that happy balance of doing what you're passionate about?
It has been a fuel under me. I am so happy. I can't say that I'm not happy. I'm living my best life. And yes, a pageant was something I've never even dreamt of doing. But I actually got my first taste of a pageant was when I was accepted as Miss Pennsylvania Plus America. And that was in later month or previous months. But what happened was I had my gallbladder removed. I had to face, my digestive issues. And then I had to look at, do I want to live? Or what do I want to do? What am I going to do with my health? So I had to make major health decisions. So I could no longer be in the Miss Plus America pageant. So I said, you know what? I'm going to apply to something else. And that something else came across my screen. And it was the Miss Black America pageant. And I saw that they have fantastic platforms to reach into the Black community and beyond. And I said, I'm going to go for it. And I just went off of faith. And I basically told them who I was transparent. And I said, here I am. And then when I found after background checks and everything like that, and they told me that I got it, it's something that I'm just so thankful for. And I can't wait to the competition next year. But it's just something that's adding to everything that I'm doing, which is basically upliftment and empowerment.
Yes. And so for those that want to get connected with you, actually, before we do that, what's your platform in doing the work that you're doing? What's your platform with your pageantry as well?
The platform of my pageant is a little different, I'll be honest with you, but I love it. So the pageant itself is about royalty. And I said, well, I'm going to talk about empowerment and inspiration, especially for youth, but I want to take them to their roots. I want to take them to, in Africa when everyone was a queen and everyone was a king and everyone was a prince and a princess, understand their roots, the traditions, the healing properties of the lands and just different things about themselves, the drums and everything like that, African tradition at large, and just show them that this is not something barbaric. It's not something that you should forget about. It's something that's a part of you, and understanding your culture and where you come from, you'll be better on in your future.
Mic drop. And I love that because even when I hear people use the terminology slave, I find myself correcting it a lot. I'm like, no, enslaved. These were, like you said, kings and queens, and knowing, where we come from can strengthen us. Knowing who we are, who we're called to be, is a powerful tool. So I commend you and congratulate you again.
Thank you.
This is Pennsylvania Black America. Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
So can you tell us, for those that want to connect with you, what's the best way that we can find you on social media, your websites, and everything in between?
Of course. So of course on the Instagram at Sabrina Esprit, and Esprit is spelled ESPERE. And then of course on Facebook, you type in Sabrina Esprit, I'm the only one that's there. But I'm old school. You can give me a call, 267-575-0380. Just call me and let's talk.
I love it. Well, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be wrapping up with our final thoughts. So don't go anywhere. If you're watching live, now is a great time. If you're wondering how you can support the show, how you can support our guest today, just share it. That's it. You don't got to send a donation, nothing like that. Just tell a friend and share today's episode. We'll be right back in just a moment with the final thoughts.
Get your copy of my all-new book, Finished, where you can transform your life and get projects done in as little as 7 days. Go to ericalatrice.com.
All right. So we're going to jump back in, or wrap up. I say jump back in. We're going to jump off in a second. What's that one thing? What's that final thing that you would hope the audience would leave with today from hearing you speak?
I would say the final thing that I'm going to give to the audience, which is a jewel. You have to understand the power you were born with and understand you're a jewel. Let your light shine. Whatever you want to do, go for it. You have support. You're just looking in the wrong places. If you need help, give me a call. But, just know you can do it and have a goal and a goal.
I love it. A goal and a goal. And Pooja, you have just inspired me, you both today. What's that final thing that you would hope the audience would leave with from you today?
I would suggest you to please experiment with your ideas, experiment with your thoughts. You never know what is next. And if like have an idea, just give your idea some time. Like explore the possibilities. And internet is the best tool. Explore the possibilities. Internet. You don't have to be like do the business always offline. You have online. You explore this online possibilities, and things will be fine.
I love it. So, drum roll, please, as we end today. I just want to shout out our winner who said, Pooja, ma'am, you are really a great inspiration for me. So, Himanshi, you are the winner today. And if you can email me at info@ericalatrice.com, I am gifting you 21 days of focus, which we all can use. I might do it with you. So, just email info@ericalatrice.com to get your prize today. And again, I want to say, Sabrina, Pooja, thank you so much for being on the show. Dropping wisdom nuggets. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for being here. If you're watching live, I just want to say thank you. Even if you're watching later than live, you can stay connected with me across social media at Erica Empowers. If this message encouraged you, tell a friend. And as I'm always telling you, no matter what happened yesterday, the day before, the week before, go out and make today amazing, because it is absolutely a choice. Thank you so much for watching.
For more inspiration, visit us online at ericalatrice.com.